December 24th, Christmas Eve, 2021. Hey guys, I'm doing two albums. These are two of my favorite albums from like exactly the year 2008, 9 ish. If you were listening to hipster media reviews during this period, or read Pitchfork or something like that, these are probably two of your favorite albums from this era. Um, I know them very well, so I don't really have to pull up the track list, but I do for Of Montreal because they named everything insane track lists like that make no sense. The titles of the songs are like intentionally bizarre and complicated and even difficult to pronounce. So, pulled up the track lists. Of Montreal, LCD Soundsystem, both have a few tens. My favorite records are the two that I'm about to describe. Um, Start with Of Montreal. Of Montreal's Hissing Fauna, Are You the Destroyer? It's a breakup album. It's a very like raw, kind of emotional album. Just unusual for Of Montreal up to this point. They're typically more playful, kind of absurd and silly. But this is kind of where they confront the darkness and the kind of emotional undercurrent. Yeah, Kevin Barnes. He's our finest Kevin, I feel like. Maybe Kevin Garnett. I don't know. I try to keep track of my fellow Kevins. I think he's the best. Opens with Suffer for Fashion, which isn't what I would open the album with. I would resequence this album very differently. Suffer for Fashion I don't love, or I didn't love. It's grown on me a lot because I like to listen to albums start to finish, and I've warmed up to it. At first, it sounded kind of awkward, but then I realized it's very similar to Needles in the Camel's Eye, the opener from Here Come the Warm Jets, another one of my favorite records, Brian Eno's first record, specifically the way the guitars are, and the guitars on the Here Come the Warm Jets are played by Robert Fripp. See, it all connects. It's all one album. Anyway, but yeah, it's not one of my favorite songs from the record, but it does kind of let you know what you're in for somewhat with the dynamics and the kind of chugging instrumental guitar stuff, which is just kind of used almost like a sample or an electronic effect, just kind of integrated. This is the first album that's really, they go like full electronic instead of kind of a synthesis between live instruments and electronics. This to me is like Of Montreal going full, going Kid A or whatever. Suffer for Fashion. Yeah, it's a good song. It's a decent song. Not one of my favorites. Sank the Scene is cool. It's a good transition. The whole song just kind of feels like a transition. It doesn't feel like a complete song. It's pretty short, and it's just kind of like, it's like that, and then flips over, and anyway. I don't know how to describe Sank the Scene. But I like it as a transition into Cato as a Pun. And Cato as a Pun is the kind of slower first ballady thing on the record. I like the lyrics to the song a lot. What has happened to you? And don't say that I have changed, because man, of course I have. It's a good song. The first classic song, reason this is, for me, one of the best albums ever, is Hemdelgast, Hemdelgast, like a Promethean curse. I adore this song. This is one of my favorite songs ever. It's about depression and drugs. Chemicals don't flatten my mind. Chemicals don't mess me up this time. I'm always so dubious of your intent. Like I can't afford to replace what you spend. Come on, chemicals. I love the way he does the chorus. He goes, "Come on, chemicals. Come on, chemicals. Come on, chemicals." It's just an insane song. The chorus is perfect. It's great. Like the lyrics to the song are incredible. I don't want to repeat lyrics with my bad voice, but listen to it. It's a fantastic song. After that is Grelandic Edit, which is one of the best songs on the record. It's funky. It's awesome. The lyrics are the cool Kevin Barnes lyrics that you want. It's talking about I'd be content living in my friend's apartment and only leaving once a day to buy some groceries. Yeah, it's fucking great. It's a great song. One of the best of Montreal songs. A sentence of sorts in Kongsvinger is this is kind of like a happy, yeah. No, this is a great song. I like this song a lot. It has cool kind of harmonies when the beat drops. It's like that, just like cool vocal harmonies. And it's catchy, danceable, lovely song that in no way prepares you for track 7, The Fast is a Grotesque Animal. Which again, I would sequence this album very differently. I would have it build up to Past is a Grotesque Animal. Maybe I would open with something like Grelandic Edit, Cato as a Pun, Sink to Sane. I'd probably put Labyrinthian Pomp and We Were Born the Mutants earlier. And then I would probably put Past is a Grotesque Animal towards the end. Because it feels so cathartic that the rest of the album is kind of a letdown, or like doesn't, I don't know. There's nothing left to say, it feels like to me, after The Past is a Grotesque Animal. So I think the album would benefit from different track lists. But The Past is a Grotesque Animal is one of the greatest songs ever written lyrically. Just kind of has a simple, relentless bass line and weird, like, sci-fi noises that float in and out. And it's just Kevin Barnes just like pouring his heart out about everything, about women, about drugs, about art, about hopelessness, about it's this beautiful poetry, and then eventually these vocals start to creep in as like a chorus. But it's mostly just him spilling his heart out. Doesn't even rhyme, a lot of it. I mean, I can quote a lot of it from memory. I don't know that you need to hear that. But yeah, we're always touching by underground wires. We want our film to be beautiful, not realistic. Perfect song. Bunny Ain't No Kind of Rider. It makes sense after this song because I feel like this song is about admitting that you don't love somebody, and then Bunny Ain't No Kind of Rider. It's like, I need a lover with soul power, and you ain't got no soul power. It's a cute little thing to put after that. And then Fabergé falls for Shuggy. Yeah, it's not one of my favorites. I know that song. It's Labyrinthian Pomp, I think, rules and is one of my favorites. Has a good beat. She's a Rejecter kind of sounds like a corny kind of pop punk song to me. I wouldn't put it on the album at all. Although the other two closing tracks, We Were Born Mutants, again with what is it? It's like with lamination. It's like it's so random. The titles don't fit in the iPhone with Leafling. Yeah, that was necessary. We Were Born Mutants again with Leafling. It's a good song. Dark lyrics. Good song. And Voltaic Crusher, Undrummed Muted, is it lyrically kind of closes the album in a good way. So maybe the sequencing is better than I'd given it credit for. But yeah, that's my favorite of Montreal album. The best LCD Soundsystem album is, of course, Sounds of Silver. Self-titled one has a few good tracks, like Tribulations and Daft Punk's Playing at My House, but Losing My Edge, it's nothing that's on the level of Sounds of Silver, which is start to finish, fantastic piece of electronic progressive rock, whatever, genres. Just say genres, it's those. Starts with Get Innocuous, which is a great opener because it builds. This album to me has flawless sequencing. This is the opposite of Montreal record. You would not change a thing about the way this album is. Everything kind of perfectly leads to the next thing. Get Innocuous is an opener. Slowly builds on this drum pattern, and then this bass pattern comes in, and then it shifts the rhythm, and then there's these kind of like echoey, like David Bowie style. Once you had believed it, now you see it stuck in your head. And then it just kind of disintegrates into just like dance, just like dirty ecstasy, EDM dance with like loud, kind of synthy, beautiful funk, and yeah, and then the lyric, "You can't ignore the lines, don't it make you feel alive?" I assume that's Nancy Wang, just because she's the female member of the group. Maybe they got somebody else to say it, but I like that vocal. I like this song. It stays interesting the whole way through and danceable. And then it segues into, I think, the two most kind of just like conventionally pop you can throw on at a party type songs on the record, which Time to Get Away is just a great funky, kind of like a Talking Head song, with cool percussion and yeah, just a simple bass line that like dun 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 dun, and yeah, they have these different noises that float in. Synth, The percussion, the vocals. He sings this song in a funny style, where he's like straightening his voice to sing. It's like I don't know, I can't do the, but it's like yeah, it's a fun vocal trick. Um, North American Scum is next. This is just functions as a pop song. I've heard it in like fucking movies and commercials and shit. Um, it has the most simple melody ever, which is dun 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 dun. Like it's like just if somebody just like plays 1 3 4 on a keyboard slowly and then puts a underneath it. It's kind of obnoxiously simple, but that's kind of the point. The song is about kind of being obnoxiously simple, which Americans are. Uh, and yeah, the lyrics are hilarious. Um, it's about the kind of insanity and superficiality of Westerners and just taking pride, just having civic pride in the dirtbag, culturalist scum that we are in this country. Which I find empowering. After that is Someone Great. This is probably the best song on the record. It just has this incredible synth figure that comes in and it builds with like these bell sounds. There's like this this like wow, 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 this like warped kind of repeating synthy thing, and then this cool synth line comes in with the dun, 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 and then it builds, and then there's like bells and stuff, and the bells play the same melody as the vocals that James Murphy is singing. So it's like dun, 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 dun. He's like, I miss the way we used to argue over this again, this very like alive feeling synth bed. With the propulsive kind of 808 or whatever the drum machine is using it to create that like and the lyrics are great. The lyrics are fantastic. It's about I guess it's about, to me, um, like having nostalgia and then um, not knowing what to do when someone genuinely special leaves you or dies, because it just kind of puts in perspective how kind of uh, jarring it is when you missed out on something that felt like it was important. Um, yeah, and then All My Friends, it's an amazing song. It starts with one of the most obnoxious samples that's the base of any song, which is on the piano. It sounds off in a way, like it's a mistake, but then they just keep sampling it and you get used to it. Then you start to sort of kind of like it, and then they put the chugging percussion underneath and the bass line, the and it starts to make sense. And then the lyrics to this are amazing. They're very emo, like it's like literally like a postal service song. It's like very straightforwardly, it's like sad boy emo. but it's great. It's a fantastic sad boy emo song. Just the getting older, getting like running out of the drugs and the superficial friends, and then just being like, well, where are your friends tonight? Where are your what's you have nothing to show for it for all of this. But it's like a lament. So for me, it's like a lament for youth, and a beautiful one at that. After that is Us versus Them, which is fantastic. It's one of the best songs on the record. Kind of similar to like a Get Innocuous. It's just like a great dancey thing, electronic thing. Also with like proggy elements. He does the weird voices that he does in Get Innocuous. Different weird voices, but we're in the same range of weird James Murphy voice in Us v Them. And it's a great song. Watch the Tapes is fun. It's probably the most disposable song on the record to me. But it's funky, it's danceable, and it's over pretty quickly. It's a decent song. Sounds of Silver. Again, we're back into Us v Them, Get Innocuous. Kind of longer electronic dance, deconstructed synthy things. The repeated lyric is hilarious to me. That sounds of silver make you want to feel like a teenager, but then you remember the feelings of a real life emotional teenager. Then you think again. And then the closer is perfect. New York, I love you, but you're bringing me down. There's no other song could have closed this album. There's no other place you could have put that other than the closer. And it's the least electronic. I don't think there's any electronic in this. It's just like piano, drums, real instruments, and he's just singing about living in this kind of bloated wasteland that is our country. And he's saying like, "I love you, but like this isn't gonna last. This doesn't work. This isn't good." And then he peppers in kind of like superficial joke lyrics like, "Please take me off your mailing list for those who think it still exists." But yeah, maybe you're wrong, maybe I'm right. And if so, here's that song. While the boring collect, I mean all disrespect. In the something bars I'd once dreamt I would drink, whatever the fuck. I haven't listened to this record in a while. Oh well. I've listened to both of these records a lot. Next time, I'm going to listen to the record and then review it instead of just pulling up the track list. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you. Merry Christmas.